Hi and welcome back to my channel. So I am super excited about today's video, and I know I say that all the time, but today I am super excited. I have so many things I want to share with you, and I'm going to try to get it all in as quickly as possible so that this video doesn't end up being too long. And so let's just jump right on in. So, last week was absolutely amazing times 1,000, if you can picture that. So on last Thursday, I had the opportunity to go to a class, a workshop, if you will. And I think I've mentioned this before, that I'm a part of the Circle of Champions, and I have a VIP membership, which I am going to be upgrading to a diamond membership, because I just think the work that Bob Yates and his staff and the people that work with him, they just do such a wonderful job with providing information and training on building your businesses and things like that. So anyway, last Thursday there was a workshop I went to, and it was called the Financial Increase series, and we talked about so many things, too many to get into with this video, but I just wanted to point out some of the highlights of things that we talked about. So one of the points that Bob Yates made was, he says, when the brook dries up, that's okay. Because the problem comes when you stay at the brook. So in other words, whenever something in your life dries up, be it your finances, whatever it is, it's okay if those things dry up, but you got to move on. See, because if you stay where all the dryness is, you'll never grow. And so that'll come to somebody later on. And he also talked about, we talked a lot about God and how He gives us increase and things like that. And we talked a lot about how God will give you the ideas and He will bless your dreams, but you have to get out and do your part. And I think I may have talked about that a few weeks ago in one of my other videos, but it's so important that you do that. And let's see. Oh, he mentioned poverty and prosperity as an offspring of our thoughts. I definitely want to make sure I share that with you. I think that is so powerful. Let me say that again. Poverty and property are an offspring of your thoughts. Let that sink in. And it'll come to you later on, like I said before, but when it does, that word right there was just so powerful. And to be honest with you, he could have shut the workshop down on that note. And we talked about that, there are levels of prosperity and poverty, and there really are levels with that. And your prosperity is tied to an instruction. Okay, let me say that again. Your prosperity is tied to an instruction. So basically, what is God instructing you to do? Okay, think about that. A lot of us can be prosperous if we would only do the things that God is telling us to step out on faith and do. Okay, now we talked about this cash flow. We did this cash flow chart, and this thing was so powerful to look at. So what it was is, at the top he had a box, and in that box it said increase. The box underneath that said expenses. The box to the left said assets, and the box to the right says liabilities. And we talked about how rich people take their income, pay their expenses. Those would be the bills that we all have to pay, because you need a roof over your head. Most of us have transportation, life insurance, those kind of things. But then after they pay their expenses, they take the rest of their money and they put it into assets. And we talked about those assets being things like stocks, real estate. We talked a lot about real estate and personal development and CDs, money, and we talked about CDs and money markets. They are investment products, but they are still assets nonetheless. Then we talked about how the middle income, they take their income, they pay their expenses, but then they put their money into liabilities. And we know what liabilities are, right? Their cars, their homes. Sometimes they can be vacations, unless you're a travel agent like me and you can write that vacation off. But that's a whole other video. But we just talked about how the middle income earner, that's what they do. They take their income, they pay their bills, and then they invest in those things that are, like I said, their liabilities. But then we talked about the poor. And we came to the conclusion that the poor, they take their income and then they pay their expenses, but then that's it. There's nothing left for liabilities or assets. So that was very powerful to put that up on the board and to talk about. Very, very, very powerful stuff. So I just wanted to share those few little nuggets with you because like I said, we talked about so many things in our class on Thursday. Just too many to try to go into in this video. But I would encourage you, and I'm going to leave the link in the description box, to look up the Circle of Champions. If you're in the DMV area, I would suggest that you become a part of this wonderful, wonderful organization. Oh, and one last thing. We talked about your money set point. And we talked about how we need to move away from saying we have a budget and then budgeting basically, just whatever you have left when you've paid your expenses. So we talked about your money set point, and what we did, what Bob had on the presentation slide was, it looked like a thermometer, right? And there were different levels with different dollar amounts, and we were all challenged to go home and create our own money set point. And so I have not done mine yet, but I will. And that's where you sit down and, like I said, you create your chart and you write down dollar amounts. So let's say you start out with $1,000, right? So let's say you go $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, $3,500, so forth and so on. And so what you do is, as you get to each level that you've put on your chart, you draw it in. You know how it is, like when you're trying to set a goal, maybe your church is trying to have a building fund, that kind of thing, right? So as you get to each level of your savings on your chart, you pencil it in until you get to the very top of whatever it is that you're trying to save for. Absolutely powerful stuff. And that was that. Now on Sunday, oh my goodness, on Sunday, which actually was yesterday, I had the opportunity to attend an awesome girlfriends conference. When I tell you, this thing was awesome. The guest speakers were just absolutely amazing, and they brought so much information, just so much so that, it was a lot to even try to write down everything because you didn't want to miss anything. But let me just go through some highlights. So Miss Candace Camille is her name, Candace Camille. She came and she talked about health and how it's important. Of course, we all know that, to take care of our health. And like she talked about, we spend so much time doing everything else. We spend a lot of time on our jobs, on our businesses, but we won't take care of our health. So I'm challenging you today to make it a priority to take better care of your health. That means eating better. That means getting up and moving. And then we had, we had Miss Kim Coles. When I tell y'all, she is so funny, but she's so amazing. She was so personable. I did my selfie with her, and of course I posted it on Facebook. So if you follow me on Facebook, you got a chance to see it. But she is simply amazing, and she talked about this new program that she has, and it's called Gifts, and it stands for gratitude, intention, forgiveness, triumphs, and self. What is this? My notes. I can't even read my whole notes, but something about self that I wrote down. But don't worry about that, because I'll make sure in the description box that I put down not only her website, but the information about gifts and what it all stood for. Now, she had an awesome book that she was selling, and it's a journal. It's called Your Gratitude Journal. And here it is. Y'all, let me show it to you first of all. Here it is right here. Hope you can see that. But this is the journal that she had for sale, and it's called the Gratitude Journal. And I love this quote on the front. It says, "Choose to live life out loud." And the word gifts, what it stands for is gratitude, intention, forgiveness, triumphs, and self-love. And I cannot wait to get my little eyeballs into this book. Let me show you the inside cover where she autographed it for me. I feel so special. But yes, so she autographed my book, and I cannot wait to sit down and really start going through this. And like I said, just as I flip through it, it's really, really amazing. It has some stories and sections where you can actually do some journaling. So I cannot wait to get into that. And then, oh y'all, wait a minute. Then we had, after that, Miss Carol Hunter. And I'm going to leave her website in the description box. She talked to us about our finances and how important it is to be conscious of your finances. And so let me just give you a few nuggets that she shared with us. And one of the things, and I definitely have to share this, she says, how many days of wealth are you know what, my own handwriting, sometimes I have a hard time reading it. Okay, how many days wealthy are you prepared for is the real question. Now I know you might be thinking, well, that doesn't make sense, Michelle, but what she talked about was, she said, we're all wealthy. We are, right? I don't care if all you have in your bank account is $1,000. That is wealth, okay? It may not be great wealth, but it is wealth. So she says, how many days of wealth are you prepared for? So if all you have is $1,000, guess what? That $1,000 is not going to last you very long. See, your wealth is determined by how much you have and how long you're able to keep it. Okay, let's just keep it real. And so that was very, very powerful to hear, you know, because I think a lot of us probably said, ouch, felt like your toes had gotten stepped on, to think about where you are financially. And she says, and of course she went on to talk about the two best ways to gain wealth is real estate and insurance. If, you know, she talked about how when in terms of insurance, how, you know, you should have an insurance policy on your spouse. Your spouse should have one on you. And then, of course, as you begin to age, your children, or I should say as they begin to age, should have one on the parents, and so forth and so on. So she did talk about that. And we talked a whole lot about budgeting. And then this was very important. She says, if your current salary is $100,000 a year, y'all listen to this. If your current salary is $100,000 a year, you need $80,000 a year in order to retire and live comfortably. That was deep. That was deep, because there's not very many people that can say they have $80,000 coming in every year and they're retired. So something to think about. So anyway, and then she talked about a 30-day boot camp detox, a 30-day detox boot camp that she offers. And again, I'm going to link her website in the description box. You can go on there and check that out. It's free. You can download it and start working on detoxing your finances. Okay, then we had Minister Rodney Gray, who came and he talked to us about, and I'm so sorry I didn't write the topic down of what he was talking about. But anyway, we were talking about how he talked about a little bit of everything. He talked one of the things he shared too. He said we need to learn to close down our savings account, right? And open up an interest checking account, because he talked about how you can get more interest doing that. But then he went over these 7 principles on ways to build character currency. And unfortunately, you had to be there to understand what that meant. So number 1, he talked about fulfillment. The second thing was building. The third thing was, I can't read my own writing, flow. The fourth thing was communication. Number 5, good versus necessary. And let me put a pin right here for a second. He really talked about how just because something is good to you or good for you, it's not necessary that you have it. That'll come to you later on, but that was a word right there. Number 6 was teamwork. Number 7 was resolve. And so his presentation was absolutely amazing. And then of course we went to lunch. And then after lunch we had a we had a young lady came and talked to people about, you know, just getting their lives together and doing vision boards and that kind of thing. So it was an amazing workshop. Mr. Mayor Jones, you know, we're all thankful for God giving her the vision for putting that workshop together. Now, let's see, last on my list. No, it's not last, but I do want to show you this. Okay, so you all know that I decorate my calendar, right? And funny thing is, a few days ago, I was sitting at my desk and I forgot what I was doing, but for some reason my mind went to my calendar, which I didn't have with me because unfortunately I had left it home that day. And I thought to myself, oh my God, you know what? I don't have any pumpkins in my October calendar. How can I have an October calendar without pumpkins, y'all? Just don't make no sense. So I'd already decorated it months ago. So anyway, I found some pumpkins, some corn candy, and, you know, put it on my calendar. So now I'm happy with it. So let me fold it in half so you can see my calendar. All right, so here is my October calendar. Isn't that cute, y'all? With all the colors, the oranges and the reds. And I just love these flowers right here. I actually got these flowers and the ones here at the top. These came from Michael's. But here's my little candy corn up here, because Halloween's not Halloween without it. And as you can see, my stickers and what have you, they're on here to indicate the days that I work out. And then on this side of my calendar, aren't these so stinking cute? These little yellow flowers, again, these came from Michael's. I have a pumpkin here, and here's a pumpkin patch. And of course, I've already started writing in my calendar. And then I love this sticker right here, the pumpkin on it that says boo. I put that one on the 25th of October, which is Halloween Day. So that is my calendar. Now, the last and final thing, and I actually forgot to bring it with me, but that's okay. So, I think a few months ago, I told you all that I was putting together a workshop, my first workshop for my counseling business, and I'm really, really excited about it. I finally finished the notebook that's going to go with this workshop. So that means everybody that comes to the workshop will get a notebook with all the handouts and notes and all that kind of good stuff in it. So I'm super, super excited about that. And if you know me, then you know I had kind of been putting it off. And I think I was allowing myself making changes to the notebook as a way to distract me from saying, Michelle, all right, come on, you need to pick a date. You got to do this, right? And so, unfortunately, the library that I wanted to do this at did not have, I'm sorry, let me get my notes, did not have space available for the month of October. So, I decided to, you know what, let me look and see what's going on in November. And that's actually okay. And let me tell you why. Because this workshop is only going to be open to 10 people. Okay, I can only take 10 people in this workshop. And again, if I didn't say this already, it is a free workshop. Okay, it's free, but I can only take 10 people. Now, unfortunately, out of that 10, 2, maybe 3 of those seats are already spoken for. So in essence, I really only have about 7 to 8 seats available for this workshop. So I now have to be very mindful about how I reach out to people to come and be a part of this workshop. So if you're listening to this, or you're watching this video, I should say, and you're interested in attending my workshop, please feel free to reach out to me if you're in the DMV area. And even if you're not, reach out to me and let me secure your seat. So as you know, my workshop is called Get Back Up. Going from knocked out, I'm sorry, Lord have mercy. Get back up, going from knocked down to a knockout. And I think I shared with you all before how I came up with the whole concept for the workshop. It's because I see a lot of people in my day-to-day commute to work and just when I'm out and about. And I'm a people watcher. I always said I wish I could get paid to watch people, but unfortunately I don't. But I see people all the time, and I see people who have experienced something in life that caused life to knock them down. And we all have had that moment. And if you're sitting here thinking, well, not me, I'm good. Well, guess what? Live a little bit longer, because life will knock you to your knees. I can promise you that. Now, the thing is that some people are able to get back up and keep moving. But unfortunately, others, they get knocked down in life and they just stay there. And I don't know if it's because they don't know how to get back up, or if it's because they're afraid to get back up. But in any event, I came up with this idea for this workshop because I want to reach out and help people, feel comfortable with getting back up and moving on with life. Because like I said, life will knock us all down, but you don't want to stay there. So anyway, the workshop is now going to be November the 12th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the South Bowie Conference Room. And if if you've ever been to the South Bowie Library, it's an absolutely gorgeous library, fairly new. And so again, it's going to be November the 12th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. I'm so excited and so grateful to have the opportunity to do this, because my ultimate goal is to take this workshop and travel with it. So that is all I have. And I want, two things before I go, two things. Number one, if you have not registered to vote, please, please, please go and do so ASAP. And you need to check the state in which you live to find out when the voter registration cuts off, because I'm not sure about every state. But please be sure to do that. It is so critical. And I'm not going to use this time to get into politics, but you and I both know it is very, very critical that you do that. And the last thing, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I'm encouraging women everywhere, and men too, because men have been known to get breast cancer. I believe Richard Roundtree was diagnosed with breast cancer many years ago. So October again is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm encouraging everyone to please do your monthly self-checks and to go and get your annual mammograms, because unfortunately breast cancer is very real. It's very prevalent where, in the United States, but it doesn't have to be a death sentence anymore. The earlier you catch it, the earlier you can start getting treatment for it. And as you will see, I am wearing my pink bracelets, and I will be wearing them all month long. And not just all month long, but I'll be wearing them period, but especially all month long in support of breast cancer awareness. One of them says faith, the other one says strength. So having said all of that, I wish you a wonderful day, an amazing week, and I'll see you back here next week for our next Catch Up With Me video. Take care.